How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about e-bikes. They're getting more and more common. You see them at Costco. You might naturally think about, is it worth it to buy an e-bike to commute to work instead of using a car? DYU supplied me with an e-bike to test. Their C1 e-bike retails for $900. It's quite expensive. But if you think about how much your car costs, $100 in insurance per month, a couple $100 for payments, maybe $100 worth of gas. If you're able to completely not have a car at all, if you live in a dense city area, the e-bike could easily pay for itself within just 2 months. So it makes complete financial sense if that is something that you can do. More realistically though, if you keep your car payment stays there, you still have to pay for insurance. Maybe it might be a little bit less because you drive less miles, but for every single mile that you ride in your e-bike, you're gonna reduce your expenses by about 50 cents per mile. So if you keep the car for, random trips on the weekend, maybe you wanna go to Napa or something, how long will it take to break even? The e-bike costs $900. Electricity per mile in an e-bike, it's basically negligible. In actuality, it's about half a penny per mile, but it's so little that it doesn't really factor much into the cost. You do $900 divided by 50 cents, you need to ride 1,800 miles. Let's say your commute is about 10 miles, and let me say 10 miles is a lot to ride in an e-bike. 40 minutes each way, 90 days in order to break even. And if you only do it Monday to Friday, it'll take you 4.5 months to break even. I've actually been using a scooter. Let me show you guys. It was this thing, and I put over 1,000 miles on the scooter, so I definitely made the money back on it. And because the scooter rides in the same lanes as an e-bike, I can tell you that I don't like riding next to traffic because there's smog and pollution. And if you ride during rush hour, there's even more smog and you're gonna breathe all that in. So as a commuter during rush hour, I don't think it's a viable option. It has health concerns, not just pollution, but also accidents. What would it be good for is for cities that have dedicated bike lanes for only pedestrians. This would be very, very nice. And some cities do have this, including some campus areas in San Diego, just anywhere that is very, very bike friendly, no cars at all. Since this bike can only go 15 miles an hour, you also want to think of it in terms of speed because no one wants to waste time every single day riding everywhere. If it's like 3 miles or less, it's probably just as fast to ride an e-bike than to drive a car. But anything longer than that, where you have streets that are 35 miles an hour to 50 mile an hour speed limit, well, a car would go faster in that case. Or maybe if you have to take the car on the freeway, it definitely would be faster to take the car. So you should factor in the amount of time you have to take in order to ride an e-bike instead of a car. Now, let's say you ride it in traffic. Sometimes it's better to ride a bike because all the cars are stuck there. And if you're in a bike, you just cruise right on by. But like I said before, even though it's faster for a bike, you have to ride by all this pollution. If you use it a lot, your break even is between 2 and 5 months. Within that time, you have a danger of completely losing your bike due to theft. If you're in a high theft area, especially for bicycles, just go and look at the bike racks and see if there are random bicycles that's left there, the seats taken away, the tires taken away, or you just check out the stores to see if there are a lot of bars on there, then you know this is a high theft area. If you get your bike stolen within that time, then all that savings that you're trying to save for gets obliterated. So you better make sure your bike doesn't get stolen. You can remove your wheel, lock up your wheel, lock up the bike seat. You could even try to remove the battery. So people that steals the bike, they have to pay a lot for a battery in order to make the whole thing work. So I didn't actually commute in my scooter. I just took it to mail stuff. I took it to the grocery store sometimes, just recreationally. And just from doing those things, I racked up over 1,979 miles. If it's raining hard, you definitely don't want to take the e-bike. Although it is IP54 rated, the 4 meaning that the rain can come down. You just can't have high pressure jets shooting at the bike. No submersion of the bike in water, but it will take light drizzle or even a medium rain. So if you use it recreationally, you should be able to rack up more than 1,800 miles in order to cover the cost of this e-bike, as long as you're displacing miles that you would have driven in a gasoline car. I'm not gonna pedal at all from a standstill in sport mode. 8 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour, 11, 13, 14. It's coasting at 14 now. Starting from first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear, seventh gear, back to sixth. It reduces the effort needed to go really far. So if the things in your city are really far apart, you won't tire yourself out by going 10 miles, 20 miles. And this thing has a 37-mile range. I'm not even pedaling, and it's going at 15 miles an hour. I'm going over some tough terrain. Let's see how well the shock works. If you lock it, first it'll lock the shocks. On E gear, if I start pedaling, it will start assisting me. And as long as I pedal, it just feels like a very light duty cycling. I'm hardly pedaling and it's cruising at 8 miles an hour. And of course, if you stop pedaling, it will also stop. But if you don't want to pedal at all like I am, you can just push the throttle and it'll just push for you, and it keeps going and going. If you hold it for about 8 seconds and let go, it'll just keep on going. If you ever want to stop, just push the brake and it will stop applying power. Brake test at max speed of 15 miles per hour. 15, brake. It's around 20 feet. Your stopping condition is going to change based on your weight and your riding condition, especially if the floor is wet. On the left handlebar, you got your power button, mode button, and the headlight switch. In the off state, just tap it one time and it'll turn on. The mode switches between E, D, and S. Max for E is 9 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour, and 15 miles an hour. And your headlight, if you turn it on and off, there's one lever right here to shift up, and this one shifts down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and shift it back down. Handlebars are very, very soft. Look at that. Typically, you would leave the battery in even if you park it and lock it. But if you want to change the battery later on, it comes with 2 keys and you can unlock it and take this away. And this would expose all the wires internally, and also the connector would be exposed. You can't really remove the battery and park it and lock it, because if it happens to rain while you're away, it will get into your electronics. So carrying the battery with you for theft prevention is probably not a good idea. You also have the rear reflector here and a handy carrying rack with a strap to it. Hook this on one side, or you can use your typical bungee cords over here, and on the other side, fairly secure. You also have the spring-loaded clamp to clamp whatever else. It comes with a 7-speed Shimano shifting gear. The gearing, Shimano 6-7 speed. Mud flaps on both front and rear tires. Mud flaps stay so it doesn't flop around. When you're riding any kind of wheeled vehicle, it tends to kick up some kind of muddy water onto your clothing. So these are actually really handy. Seat is actually a wide one, so you can just rest your entire butt on it. I find these kinds more comfortable for longer rides. You can release it and it comes right off. If you lock your bike in a dangerous area, you probably want to quick release your front tire, chain them together with the back. You probably don't want to remove your battery unless it's a sunny day, but you do want to remove your seat because you can easily remove it and take it. You could possibly chain it through this wire underneath here, and then you don't have to carry your seat with you. The front tire quick releases. Unscrew it some more on the other side, and it comes right off. To put it back on, just do the reverse. Make sure it's seated well in there, and just like that, it's back on. If you guys are interested in getting the DYU C1 bike, check out my affiliate link down in the video description below. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time.